Hey there, I'm Dr. Bob McIntosh with Fit to Lift, and I am going to go through today and discuss the process in this first video about when the individual comes in for a post-offer employment or a fit for duty test. In the beginning, we have 2 packets of paperwork, personal information for the individual, and then the actual evaluation forms. So I'll grab those and show you. So the personal information form is here, should be 2 pages, and then on the back side is telling them about what they're going to be going through, and then their signature and date at the bottom. Make sure that it's printed. On here, it's really important to make sure that they understand that they can be there with paperwork and everything between 1 hour to 2 hours. And then if they're on medication, make sure that they list this and that they have their driver's license and have identified themselves. And then they list their allergies, medical conditions, surgeries, or injuries that they've had in the past. Extremely important that they list their injuries that they've had in the past, who their primary care is, and then as far as how to contact them as well. So that's going to be their personal information. Up at the very top, it's going to have their name, date of birth, email, and then a phone number for you to get a hold of them. And then this portion right here, which is the category, according to which category it is, for them to be able to apply for, or that they were applied for the job. Now we're determining if they're fit for duty based on the tasks that were tested, and we pulled from those and put into the job description itself. So each category has its own job description or a group of them. And so here's a checklist on the first sheet. You'll see that they've signed both of the 2 pages, that they've gone through and filled out the first page, signed the second page, and then they have a copy of their driver's license, and then starting the actual post-offer employment test. Each page has their name, date, and then the start time, so you can start tracking how fast you are and how long the test is taking, and how much improvement in time with repetition. Height, weight, age, and then blood pressure with them resting. And then you go through the safety test, whether they pass or they fail, meaning that they're on medical hold. And then this states 72 hours to respond to confirmed appointment, date, time, treat with their treating provider with the if they don't pass this first screening exam for the actual not stress test, but a step test, to be able to determine based on their physical exertion at work and their physical demand level. So on here, you'll write down their heart rate, and then we have the max permissible heart rate, which is going to be 220 minus their age times 0.85. And so then they'll do the 3-minute step test, and then that step test will be at the height that's stated on here. And we have it at 9.4 inches for this one, and about a 4.8 mets for this test. Yours will be different, or based on the job description that you have. And they'll do that step test, and we use a metronome, and we set the metronome based on what their actual what the rate needs to be. So this one's called a quick time, and nice and simple. You can get them online. As we go through here, make sure that they get, if they don't pass this and they're on medical hold, they need to get the notes as far as what's going on, the provider's signature, and then this is the medical information below. Same thing here, the individual, they're with the primary care information. Now, as soon as they pass that test, we're going to go through and I'll come in and do the evaluation as far as I want to check to see if they can move, squat, touch the ground, stand on one leg. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to adjust the camera so we can go through that. And then I'll go through palpation on the areas that we need to make sure and do so. And then the evaluation as far as with the neurologic test for whether it's sensation or reflexes. That's going to be on this sheet as well. This sheet, you have your strength, 1 through 5, as if there's weakness, 5 out of 5 is their full strength, and if they're weak at all, less and less, on those, the standard, I believe it's the AMA guidelines that are set as that. And then if there's any trigger points, any of these muscles that are causing problems, if they do have active injuries, you're going to go through and mark that, and right off to the right-hand side, notes as far as that there's a severe tenderness in the supraspinatus on the right, and they're not able to lift their arm over their head. Or if there's, and you can circle right, left, or whether it's within normal limits. And if it's within normal limits, just circle them all the way down. But then on the reflexes, you have 0 to should be 4, and then we have 2 as being normal, and then hyper-reflexive up to 4, and then down whether it's less or no reflexes. We utilized for the ranges of motion JTech equipment, and I'll go through that real quick. So our equipment is a Bluetooth enabled equipment for strength, as far as for lifting, for shoulders, for pinch and grip. And then here's going to be all our range of motion. We use a dual inclinometer. And so this company is called JTech. We use their North Star Echo equipment. They'll have new items that come out, new technology, but this is the one that we use, and it works really well. So we'll get their ranges of motion for the spine. We'll do all 3 ranges for flexion, extension, lateral bending, and rotation. And then, we just, this documentation is not meant, it's just for our medical record. You don't, if I put it into the JTech equipment itself, stores it, it creates a file for them. You just need to know if there is a loss of range of motion and if there's any pain in that direction, as well as far as at that current status at that time. So then we use some equipment such as the strain gauge. Well, this is going to be what they hold on to and lift for the 5 different positions for the NIOSH. And so it's going to be from the floor, and this platform over here you see with a bar on it. It clips onto the side of it, and we stand on the platform. They stand on the platform and they lift at the certain levels. So it'll be from the floor, from the knees, from the waist, from at the shoulder levels with their arms bent for a high knee, and then also up at that same level but with their arms straight out, lifting at that level. So, and we'll take and use this for muscle testing, depending if they're fit for duty, and to see what percentage of loss there is from one side to the other. So this is going to be utilized when we push and calculate the strength that they have left to right. So I'm going to take Kyle and show you that as well. So Kyle, I'm going to have you stick your arm out straight forward, and then I'll put this on humerus, and then I'll pull down, and it'll calculate it on the JTech equipment as far as his resistance, and I can calculate if there's a deficit left to right still. And it just gives me a higher degree of measuring whether or not they're able to go back to work. Pinch and grip. So you're going to have your grip strength dynamometer, and then you're going to have strain gauge here. As far as you're going to have flat, you're going to have key pinch, and then you're going to have tip grips as well. And just depending on what your test calls for on your evaluation, that's what you're going to utilize it for. So you'll see back here we have a ladder, and so depending on what the step is that they have to go, we'll use the orange step, and then we'll put blocks, like foam blocks that can be either 6, 8, 9 inches tall, whatever the height is that they need to be able to step to gauge or to change the height so they can actually get to that level. And then, so the basket, we'll use that for lift and carry. Some of our lifts are going to be lift and hold at waist level and carry for 20 or 100 feet. And then lift up to a certain level, so 60 inches. And so we put a mark on the wall, and then we'll hold it at that level. This is the next page on the sheet. And this is going to be talking about the orthopedic tests, and I'll go through those right now. And there's going to be your Kimps, Farfan torsion, Yeoman's, shoulder overhead reach, and then squat and touch the ground. So we'll go through all those, and then we have all the ranges of motion for the spine. And then if need be, we'll have shoulder, knee, and then down here you'll have strength, lift and carry for balance, push, pull. That's overall put into these tests. This is their physical abilities. This person is squat to touch the floor and rise. They need to be able to do it with 40 pounds. This is to pick up a wheel chock for the wheel chocks that are at this mine site. So you have 41 pounds, and they need to be able to lift them up to 60 inches and just do that one time. So that's one of the tests. Next is the climb 6-step ladder, 32-inch first step, and then the ladder climb, second step start. So this is going to be that, using the ladder and measuring 32 inches, make sure it's at that level. Have them do that with one on each leg. They just need to be able to get up the ladder and do that safely. then the next one's going to be lower weighted lever to the ground. So this is literally using a shovel when these guys are doing the lifting and shoveling, cleaning their tracks. You'll have a 25-pound shovel that's at 28-inch height with 5 repetitions. And so you have to be able to bend down and go through the shoveling motion. Kyle, would you be able to grab the kettlebell, hold it, cup it in one hand and hold it on the other side like you're shoveling? And I want you to go ahead and go from here, or go from the table level to the floor if you would. So into the table, yep, and then down to the level, to the floor. And so this height here needs to be whatever the height is that's measured on that sheet. And this will be 28 inches, so we'll have it measured to what that height is for the individual. Max lift and force, so we have the carry in place, so we'll put 20 pounds, so we'll just say that's a 20-pound weight, we'll put it in that basket. And then I'll ask Kyle to go ahead and do that himself, and I won't set it up. I'll have him put 20 pounds in there, and then it's to carry it 20 feet, so I'll have him walk back and forth in the office, and then to lift it to up to 60 inches, and then touch the wall at about shoulder height, if you would. Good. And then down, and then we utilize on this, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you, Kyle. Well, we utilize this strain gauge here for the lifts, if they're at specific levels, to be able to lift from their knees 169 pounds, or from the floor 169 pounds in this case. So we utilize that platform, hook this on there, and then they have to lift it up and be able to apply 169 pounds of force. That's how we do this and calculate it as well. The other thing that we utilize this for, this is that muscle tester, is we'll take, there's some questions on as far as driving, how do you calculate 10 pounds of force of lateral push? So you push internal rotation and it can calculate that they can apply 10 pounds of force on their side. Same thing, whether it's outwards, you can put the strap on their hand and you can have them push outwards as well. So lateral force of 10 pounds. And if you have any questions, those are going to be our main tests that we have for the post-offer employment test. The only thing that I skipped over was the reflexes and being able to do reflex on patella, on Achilles, on bicep, brachioradialis, and tricep. So being able to note that those are all normal, and then do sensations for upper extremity, being able to say that there's no numbness left to right, and then same thing in the lower extremity. We utilize a wrist cuff for blood pressure measurements, and so we'll go through and do that, and then have them do their step test, and then punch the button again and get their heart rate again off of it, and it tells us their max permissible. So if you have any questions, make sure to let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.